in the right hands if you have a good feel for the finesse of it. Great ability. I usually would prefer strafing run if I only had 2 or 3 abilities to choose from. And AT support, I don't know. I'd probably rather see paratroopers, but okay, that's fine. I'll let him decide his own playstyle. I think the metagame hasn't evolved enough to really criticize that kind of stuff too harshly yet. And we'll see some pretty good choices here for DeathsMotto. He does have stormtroopers and heavy armor support. Maybe heavy armor support is a little ambitious because it's kind of hard to get that without the manpower blitz, but definitely stormtroopers. Definitely a good choice there. Especially, and we see he is actually upgrading his headquarters right now. So definitely stormtroopers. And now getting a little bit clever with the bunkers, and unfortunately the timing on this works out as such. Now I kind of consider this like some other RTS style of play. This seems like a StarCraft method of play. Build up your army and then attack, and I don't typically see that a lot at high levels of play around here. Most people benefit the most by just using whatever units they have right then and there and getting the most ability out of them. This kind of spoils the surprise because you come here and you kill this bunker that wasn't really preventing you from doing that much anyways. Yeah, it prevented engineers from sneaking by. But and as a result, you spoil the surprise. And really, I would just cancel this bunker right now because honestly, I would assume it's going to die. But this kind of mentality of like, all right, I'm going to build up an army and then attack with it. But it's blind. It's a blind army. He's operating under the metagame assumption that these Greyhounds will counter whatever he's going to fight, and that for some reason he needs this anti-tank gun and that anti-tank gun. So kind of a poor army choice there. I think he just, is used to getting rolled by tanks and thought, all right, I'm weak against tanks, and therefore I want to kill him with my Greyhounds or something. But kind of losing track of what the victory scheme is here. Again, not too many criticisms just yet for DeathsMotto. It could just be because he's faster than the slowest gazelle, and most of my criticisms are going towards LewTom right now. But there's plenty of little things he could be improving upon too. But in terms of map control and that sort of stuff, not bad. Now he has seen Greyhounds, so right now I want to see a tank, an anti-tank gun, or some more stormtroopers, or not the more stormtroopers because he can't afford them yet, but or some more grenadiers. Just he needs more Panzerschrecks or something. But he's floating a little bit of money. Okay, we do see he just spent some money on something, but I can't see exactly what his build queue is. Oh, sorry, yes, he does have an AT gun coming out right now. So looks like I just missed it or something. Where is he building it? Why am I an idiot? Oh, because he's building out his Ford Barracks. Haha, I forgot to mention that he upgraded this church to a Ford Barracks. So there we go. Get to see my poor thought process in action there. So double flame engineers, kind of taking some unnecessary casualties here. You pretty much never, ever, ever want to fight them. This isn't, one of those games where you can do a little bit of damage over a long amount of time. Like, these will take virtually no damage. The machine gun nest probably pecked away at them this small amount, and that's about it. The rest of these guys got to get out of here. Grenadiers, on the other hand, much better, but you pretty much got to remember that you've only got your one Panzerschreck shot, and then for the rest of that time, you're going to be getting the 50 caliber beat down. So for now, he's okay, but he's being a little too ambitious here. He saw already that there were 2 Greyhounds, and now there are 3, and these are fully upgraded Greyhounds. So he needs to take his shot and get out of there. He can only hope for one more shot, really, before he starts taking serious casualties. And as you can see, he tries to hold on for one more shot against the exact same Greyhound, and it's just not going to happen. He needs to retreat. He's in exposed territory. He's in the middle of the road, and he goes down. So double AT guns backed up by a single squad of engineers. So this actually, looks like a good army. Now, it could only look like a good army because it took DeathsMotto a little bit too long to reinforce and to, figure out the right counters and that sort of thing. But being reactive is not a bad idea, but you want to just get these units out there, move backwards, get ready for this sort of stuff. And you'll see he's kind of overextending a little bit here because he knows these guys are charging, but he's kind of moving out directly in front of everybody. Hopefully he can get some good shots off with his pack here. Packs do wonderful damage against lightly armored vehicles, but he is taking some serious casualties, and maybe he can get a second shot off. He does, out of control, but the double 50 caliber support is going to take out his pack. So really not good positioning on the pack there. Really, he probably should have just stuck the pack here and waited, or just given up some territory and just took a defensive stance. Single Panzerschreck going off, but not really doing that much damage. And now he's going to have to get out of here. The medic bunker, which normally would have been in a decent place, was not ready in any way for this flank around the top. So this was kind of a predictable army, and being a little bit more adaptive could have prevented this just by having some defensive packs. But you kind of never want to charge your packs into battle. AT guns, you want to lay them in waiting and let people stumble into them. So now we see the real problem with this method of thought here. Again, I think perhaps LewTom is maybe being influenced too much by, you know, some of the balances with, you know, classic Company of Heroes or something. He wants to come in here, but I don't see any Greyhound mines going off. I mean, he has enough to afford one, but this is not StarCraft. I mean, you don't win by coming into your opponent's base and killing his economy. There is no economy here. The economy is the board. You're coming into his base, and you're trading your entire army for a couple of unit kills here. So really, there's sort of a fundamental ideology problem here about what it means to win this game. You don't really win this game by killing units. You win this game by capturing and defending. And so, by charging in there, he really didn't gain much. He gained this piece of territory. No, he didn't even gain that piece of territory. He gained this right here, this disconnected piece of territory and 1 victory point. Not really good. And now he's, you know, charging on in with 2 anti-tank guns. Mind you, just, you know, I'm even going to pause this for a sec just to think, what units has he seen on the board so far? I mean, he got a good look at this Panzer Command, so perhaps his metagame is sufficient to say, at some point I'm going to get rolled by tanks, therefore I should have anti-tank guns. But really, he's only seen infantry everywhere. I mean, all over the place. Infantry are the only thing killing him right now. If anything, he needs a counter to infantry. So this pairing, just fundamentally, this pairing between Greyhounds and anti-tank guns, especially aggressively charging anti-tank guns, I really disagree with. And I think this whole attack has just been a complete cluster. Really nothing was gained by it. He's throwing away his entire army. And what you need to think is, all right, let me have this army. Where's the line I want to draw in the sand? Do I want to control here? Notice I'm not even looking at this battle. It's pretty clear that DeathsMotto is going to take a couple of minor casualties, and he's going to kill all of this stuff. So I can just, you know, I'm just gonna say that and just go on to the rest of the theory here while that plays itself out. But really, what did this player want to say? He should have said, okay, I want to capture this whole top part of the map here and then draw a line in the sand maybe right around here-ish, let's say, and just hold it. Sit there and hold it and react to things that are, you know, kind of hurting me, or maybe support it so I can attack the center from the back here or something like that. Put pressure on the center from behind. But you're not going to win the game by driving into your opponent's base and blowing stuff up. I mean, yes, that happens occasionally, but this is a classic example of trying to win big when you have no justification for doing so. Ejected into orbit. Really good players have the right... They react correctly to small victories. You have a small victory or a small advantage, and what do? You extend that advantage a little bit, and then hold on to that. You give yourself a sure, guaranteed amount of benefit from that small advantage. So by having a whole bunch of Greyhounds when the enemy didn't know you had them, you could use that to capture a bunch of territory and then hold it. And even you know, combine that with the other theory of capturing more than you need and then falling back a little bit. But, you know, capture territory. To capture territory, you need infantry. But capturing territory is what drives your opponent's economy, not killing buildings in their base. You know, that's much easier to overcome. So unfortunately, hasn't benefited at all from that. So really the criticism here on LewTom is that fundamentally he's not going for the right win conditions. It's great that he got this victory point and all that, but he hasn't improved his position in this game one bit. In fact, he's really wasted a lot of ordnance, and we're still seeing this same sort of theory of Greyhounded armored car. But I think it's important to acknowledge what's going to win you the game. Are you really that likely to win the game by coming in here and killing everything and having your opponent be a fool and not reacting accordingly, or are you more likely to win the game because you captured the center of the map and held it? Much more likely. So just go for that next time. So, you know, if there's one takeaway from this, remember, next time you have a big lead and you think, great, now I can just charge into his base and kill his whole freaking base and win the game. Just calm down, Tiger. Back off a little bit and just take something that's useful later and assume that your opponent isn't a fool. By the way, I do like all this. You'll notice that he was very quick to just pick up these AT guns, run the rest of his grenadiers back home, and resupply them. So all of these gains, by the way, this is all the bounty of that attack, instantly gone. Second big criticism of LewTom's abilities here is that you really have a hard time winning the game with Greyhounds when Greyhounds can't capture anything. And there's the repossessed the repossessed anti-tank gun taking out the rest of this stuff here. So tank gun on church going on right now, which is surprisingly effective. You can see that we can see all the way into all the pews in this church. Something you don't often get to see, actually. Ooh, let's look all the way through this building. Sorry, getting a little bit distracted here, but that's because there's not much going on. So recapping all this stuff, very good moves. And I like the fact that so far, DeathsMotto hasn't really even concerned himself with this little fortification over here. I think it's a great idea to let your opponent waste all these resources on something you don't need. You know, let him defend the stuff that you probably weren't going to attack anyways. Yeah, getting back to that idea, LewTom needs a barracks. I haven't explicitly said this yet. I keep meaning to say it, but he needs a barracks. He needed a barracks 3 machine guns ago. You know, he really wants a barracks, because the one thing that will support Greyhounds very well against anti-infantry, and you'll see he did just destroy the House of God over here, is if you this guy just did a little bit of a death flail there. But if you find your Greyhounds are getting killed by anti-tank guns and infantry wielding Panzerschrecks, then get some riflemen. You really, really need upgraded riflemen. Get some bar upgrades, that sort of thing. Start thinking anti-infantry, because infantry is what's countering your money, your bread and butter, which is the Greyhounds. So again, so now that we've just thought all that through, let's take a look at his decision here. His decision is Greyhounds. Now we're going to back it with tank destroyers. Tier 4 tank destroyers. There are no tanks on the battlefield right now. Now, I guarantee you, at some point he will see some tanks, but tanks are not his problem right now. He's reacting to an army that doesn't exist. He's still trying to kill buildings and to kill bases and that sort of thing. So, not how you play the game. Not how you're going to win the game. And we do have a nice little ganking of engineers. I like how the last flame engineer blows up into these pretty mesmerizing, hauntingly